You're welcome back to Afia TV News tonight on our conversation segment, of course, centered on the Russia-Africa relations and the impact of the Africa Ministers meeting. On November 9 and 10, Russia hosted the first ministerial conference of the Russia-Africa Partnership Forum in Sochi. This meeting brought together delegations from across the African continent to assess the implementation of the decisions taken by Russian and African leaders at the second Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg, which was held in July 2023. The meeting highlighted how a multipolar world is redefining Moscow's relations with the continent as Nigeria looks towards the pathways to greater self-sufficiency. According to the president's advisor, Anton Kobiakov, the event aimed to strengthen comprehensive cooperation between Russia and Africa in all dimensions: politics, security, economics, as well as scientific, technical, cultural, and humanitarian issues. Well, joining me now to discuss Russia-Africa relations and the possible influence on the continent and Nigeria in particular is Dr. Emmanuel Chukwuka Johnson. He's the former vice presidential candidate for Action Alliance in the 2023 elections. Good evening, Doctor, and welcome to Afia TV show tonight.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here.
Nice to see you. How is Moscow?
Moscow is fine.
Great. All right. So first off, let's start. After all the plans of Nigeria's Foreign Minister, Ambassador Yusuf Toga, to attend, representing Nigeria as the giant of Africa, he didn't show up. What do you think about his conspicuous absence from that meeting, and how was it perceived? How does it also affect our bilateral ties?
His absence in that forum, actually, I consider it as a disservice to Nigeria, because, like any event happening in Africa that Nigeria is not available, is not taking the leading role, and then Nigeria is missing out. Perhaps, I don't know what could be the reason why the minister was not in that forum, whereas other ministers from other African countries actually represented their countries. We live in a time that people in government should always look out for good opportunities for the country they serve. But for him missing that opportunity, a golden opportunity, that he could also have presented Nigeria requests for assistance, because as you all of us understand, Nigeria is going through a very difficult time that the only thing Nigeria can do is to cry out to those who are willing to help. And incidentally, Russia is that country that is willing to help, in all the areas that Nigeria has serious needs, like economy, security issues, and all the rest. Unfortunately, the minister wasn't there to present our needs. The needs as it concerns Nigeria as a country to Russia.
Okay, so do you by chance know how that was perceived by Moscow?
Anyway, Moscow, actually, I don't think they perceive it in a wrong way. The only thing that there was an excuse given by the Nigerian government, as the reason why the minister was unable to come. However, there are other people who represented the government who are also in the event. Perhaps that could also give Moscow understanding that Nigeria is willing. It's not as if that the disappearance or the non-attendance of the minister is like a message to Moscow that Nigeria is not willing to partner. No, I don't think Moscow is seeing it that way, because of the other people that attended, from the Nigerian government to even people from the embassy and then from the National Security Advisor and stuff and groups like that attended. So I think that's enough also to show Moscow Nigeria is not could not be regarded as even unwilling to establish partnership with Russia. No, it's not like that.
Let's talk about the impact that the meeting would have on Africa. And of course, are we likely to see more African nations declaring interest in BRICS?
Yes, the impact as it is, the discussion we had roundtable discussions, and coincidentally, it's about all the issues, in Africa, all the problems we have as a continent. Each of them were taken one by one, discussions, and then not just mere discussion. There are some other practical steps, to solving the problems as concerns Africa and then Russian partnership. For example, discussions on fighting terrorism in Africa that we know have been spreading. And Russia is showing a good and a sincere hope of assistance, to help African nations to combat terrorism. And also in the area of economic development and then our mineral resources, offering Africa ideas and, that Africa requires. And if you look at it, Russia and Africa, we share so many things in similarities. And that is why this idea of this partnership is based on, we're kind of what we have. Russia has it. I mean, in terms of mineral resources, we have crude, we have gas, we have other mineral resources, just like Russia has it. And from the years that Russia has developed their own mineral resources, so they want to share that same experience with us so that we too can develop ours, not even depending on other people. And then look at Russia as a nation, it's a multinational country and a multi-religious country. And the same thing, the same background we have in Africa, multinationals and then multi-religious. So, and then Russia has been able to get their multinational and multi-religious group together to work together, in unity. And that's the same thing they want to share with us, the experiences they have. So I see the partnership with Russia as a genuine partnership. It's not such a partnership that is based on intimidations. It's a partnership that has something to offer to both parties.
Yes, and I've heard your interviews in various agencies, and you've spoke a lot about the unipolar world as against the multipolar world of which Nigeria will benefit from. But give us your perspective on Nigeria's willingness and readiness in joining BRICS. At the summit this year, if you remember very well, Nigeria was named amongst the partner nations. So it's like maybe putting just one foot in and not completely in, right? So how and when do you think Nigeria will be able to take the bold step?
Well, the thing is this, like I've said in other interviews, just like you mentioned, Nigeria, it's a matter of time. Nigeria will join BRICS, and then, in fact, Nigeria will be the mover of BRICS in Africa, irrespective of what is going on now. Yes, Nigeria just showed the kind of partnership, but if you go through the streets of Nigeria and ask people's opinion, greater percentage of our population would tell you that it's time for us to actually move towards BRICS. And then the reason is this: the fallout from the unipolar world. We are the most victimized, like everything that we see from the unipolar world is as if it is aimed, bringing us to our knees. The unipolar world actually, in recent, is a cause for our problems. And that is why the multipolar world is now offering us that opportunity to get ourselves free from that unipolar world. In fact, unipolar world means colonialism in a short term. It's just a colonialism. Even though, because the same people who mastermind the activities in Europe in unipolar world are the same imperial masters. So the essence of this multipolar world is to give us an opportunity to develop our economy by having our choice. We have our choice. We take our choice the way we want to take it. We know who we want to deal with. It's not as if we are being restricted with a particular people. But no, here we can develop our economy and then trade in our own currency, not in a particular currency. And that is the essence of the multipolar world, that people will have free trade in real sense.
All right, we'll have to stop the conversation here for tonight. And we want to thank you for joining in tonight and sharing your thoughts on the impact of the ministers' meeting. Dr. Emmanuel Chukwuka Johnson, former vice presidential candidate of the Action Alliance in the just concluded 2023 elections. We do hope to hear more of your thoughts on the Russia-Africa relations, but thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.